Hello, everyone. I'm Amir, the founder of Bioconscious Technologies. It feels great to be here. Thank you for having me. We're a machine learning company that applies machine learning to healthcare data. So we integrate wearable, consumer wearable, medical wearable data. The very first place we apply this type of technology is for glucose control. As you may be familiar with, diabetes was a fatal disease till 1921 when Canadians discovered insulin. From that point on, the disease has turned from a fatal disease to a chronic condition. And a lot of people that you may know actually live their daily lives throughout. The main problem with diabetes is, if the clicker works, first of all, it's growing on epidemic level. So I don't really need to stress that. It affects 10% of the global population and is projected just to grow. The main problem is glucose management. At any moment in time, a diabetic is about 3 to 7 hours away from death. If it goes too high, glucose goes too high and stays there, there's a risk of blindness, limb amputation, stroke. If it goes low, you can go into shock, coma, death in 3 hours. So to deal with this problem, we've been proactive. So since 1974, we created a lab test device to measure glucose once every 6 to 12 months. We've then developed in 1991 miniaturized the technology so people can actually take it home and do this multiple times a day. But in reality is nobody wants to prick their fingers 3 times a day. So in around 2005, they created devices that are known as continuous glucose monitors that measure people's glucose every 5 minutes. But the main issue with this device is these devices in general. So for instance, they give you 115 milligrams per deciliter, but they don't really provide you with any type of information in terms of how the blood glucose is going to change over the next 30, 45, and 60 minutes. So you're supposed to respond with insulin and food or a combination of them, but you really don't have any idea of how it's fluctuating. To deal with this problem, actually, this is a typical glucose behavior for a person with diabetes. They start the day high, they inject insulin, it goes low, they eat, it goes back up, and then it's always zigzagging outside, and this is extremely dangerous. So to deal with this problem, we've actually created a solution that accurately predicts users' future glucose values 60 minutes ahead of time. So it shows them how it did in the past and how their glucose is going to fluctuate ahead of time. The way it works is that it pulls in information from the continuous glucose monitors that I told you about, and it integrates that information with heart rate and activity coming from Apple Watch or Fitbit Watch. It runs everything through the cloud. Now, just to give you a context of how the information, the technology is today, even if the user has those devices, the data from them don't even show up on the same screen. So we pull all that information in, we run through our machine learning algorithms in the cloud, and they're able to learn users' behavior and make a projection of how their glucose is going to fluctuate 60 minutes ahead of time. In addition to that, we recalculate those predictions every 5 minutes. That effectively removes the need for manual input. So you don't need to tell us if you're going for a walk, or if you injected insulin or food. As soon as one of those devices picks them up, we're able to recalculate your predictions. So we went to BC Children's Hospital with the idea of the product. They allowed us to actually test it, and what we found out is that for a 60-minute prediction horizon, we are 94.9% accurate. Now, that was very empowering from an entrepreneur's perspective because some of the greatest companies, device manufacturers, can't even get anywhere close to that range, and that is the pink line. So we were super excited, so we launched the app December last year, and this is a typical glucose behavior for patient right after download, day 1, and this is the same patient 21 days, 3 weeks after using the solution. So just to reiterate, day 1, day 21. So we were super excited. We released it. User feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. Can put this back up. Go-to-market strategy is that we actually medically tested the device with BC Children's Hospital. Released December last year. Peaked at 5,000 users. And we introduced a paywall. We presented at the American Diabetes Association. We introduced a paywall from $5.99 to $15.99, and we're currently getting users with that price point. We're presenting at D-Data conference. Our goal is to be the top 100 medical app on the App Store in second quarter of 2019. This is where we focus right now. So the layers of the technology has changed. So back in the day, it was strips, sensors, receivers, and display. With the introduction of cloud and newer devices, the entire technology stack has changed, and we control the last 3 steps, but we want to focus on the disease and the prediction side moving forward. This is the industry that we focus in. There are big competitors. Pharma actually moved in, essentially just scooping up some of the smaller companies. So if you know anyone who's diabetic, please let them know that the app is available on the App Store, Diabits, and it's a game changer. I'm going to pause to see if there are comments or questions from the judges.
Thanks, Amir. Round of applause. I think for this one, I'm just going to take a score, because I think the questions can go in all sorts of places here. What is the ask?
We're actually doing a seed round. We're trying to raise $1 million. 1 million Canadian.
Can I ask a stupid question?
There are no stupid questions.
Don't take this the wrong way. Are you a company or are you a product that you're developing?
So the company is Bioconscious Technologies. Mm-hmm. It is a company of 4 people, 4 developers, and Diabits is our first product.
Okay.
If I may actually go forward a little bit. So the technology itself has many use cases. So now we started tinkering around with blood pressure, and another company is actually making sensors for women at risk for preeclampsia. We've actually shown that it's feasible.
You said enough. I got to let them vote.
Yes,
or else
absolutely. It's
I'm
possible to do
time.
it for
all right, put her up. All right.
Wow. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. I think I know where this is going. Chris, you're gaming the system. I'm not going to let you talk because you gave it a 10. Mike Volker, I haven't heard from you in a while. You gave a 9, so that's close enough to 10.
Yeah, I thought it was compelling. That's my favorite word when I listen to presentations. It was easy to understand, clean, simple. I would like to have seen a bit by way of projection and numbers. And most importantly, one of the things that most of the presenters have omitted to say is, how am I going to make money as an investor? That would be nice to see in there. But from what I've seen so far, I think it warrants a serious look.
Okay. Anyone else strong feelings, Stacy?
Yeah, so I actually have a really personal pain point around this. My dad is a diabetic, and he almost died, like literally in my arms after having a seizure due to his glucose levels rising and dropping. And so I deeply understand this problem, and being, both my father and I have been technology entrepreneurs who have been trying to find technical solutions to this. So the scope of the problem is big. I love the predictive element. I think that's the missing piece for diabetics, because they often do not have time to respond as soon as symptoms occur, as you know. I think the thing that I would be a little bit interested in is that there is a lot of movement in this space, and there are a lot of major companies putting deep R&D money into developing. So just a little bit of a better understanding on how you plan to conquer the global market on this, as opposed to being, more of a grassroots sort of consumer-led movement.
Yeah, so right now we're actually looking for a strategic partner in terms of medical devices to actually bring them on board. We've talked to a lot of companies. What is interesting is that you're absolutely right. A lot of people are coming into the money, but the battle is focused around the devices. Who can ship the most number of units, who can make it less invasive, and who can make the best, cheapest sensor possible. It will come a time where CGM will be completely commoditized. And then the battle will shift from, okay, now we have actually conquered the market. What are we going to do with the data? And I think we are positioning ourselves in a good spot for either an exit or acquisition around the time where the battle actually shifts. Some of the slides where you see Fitbit is investing in Sonos $6 million to do it with microneedles. We talked to a local company, Microdermics, that was trying to actually do it with microneedles. So I think that would be the next sort of jump. And we're trying to position ourselves so that by the time it comes, it just doesn't make any sense for companies to go at it alone. It'll be like, well, these guys are out there. Let's just either work with them or acquire them or something like that. Did that answer the question?
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say really, really great pitch. You did a really great job.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And also, it's really good time for you to be raising with Apple just announcing their ECG watch. I think the one thing I would love to have seen, because you are such a heavy tech company, is anything around patents or what your moat is, because I think you do have this first mover advantage according to you. I'd love to dig a little bit deeper into that. But I worry a little bit about who else is really playing in this space.
Yes, so we actually have a patent filed with 3 different embodiments. What we're trying to create is what I call general AI. And we don't really have a general AI where we can pull essentially unstructured data and be able to predict diseases. So what we've built is that we've built 3 narrow AIs. Diabits is the very first one, and we've applied for patent for the procedure of actually making predictions for the 2 other conditions that I actually showed. The patent is awaiting office action, and if approved, it gives us protection for the 3 products that is essentially there. But I have a generally bigger idea, and that is to actually build an infrastructure where you can have whatever device you have from whatever manufacturer, and it will be able to say, okay, you're having a disease or you're having a fever, don't show up to work. That's a general idea, but
open with that next time. That's your vision.
Well, the problem is it sends the wrong message to the investor. They think like, oh, Amir's crazy, he's all over the place.
No, but you're supposed to be crazy. You're the one doing
I
this.
know.
Party.
Sorry.
Raise more money.
If you give it to me, that would be fantastic. I'll be all
We
for
can
it.
talk afterwards.
Chris, last comment, unless...
I'm a diabetic. I want what you're providing right now, and if you have any trouble raising that $1 million, let's talk. We'll figure it out on the public markets.
I appreciate that.
Cool. Nice. Let's give him a hand, folks.
Thank you very much.
I can't see that. You'll have to bring it up. So I'm going to get the results here, everyone. Just hold your breath. Remember what's at stake here, and I think I might know who it is, but I'm just going to make sure. Believe it or not, folks, Diabits won today's competition, so I'll call Amir out one more time. We'll give him a round of applause. He just won $50,000 in services, media services from Cambridge House. Amir.
All right, that was unexpected. Thank you.
Yeah. No, good job.
What did I win?
Good job, everyone, today. Everyone come out. Great job today. Folks, I really want to thank our panel of judges. Like I said, this is the great panel of judges today. I learned a lot just sitting here, hearing them give feedback. To you guys for having the bravery to come up here and spill your guts and ask for money and do all that stuff. I applaud you for that. And being one of the organizers and sponsors of the show, we really thank you, everyone, for doing this. This is a fun way to end the day.